I would like to share a good practice that has been lived in our Salesian congregation, but also as a Salesian family as a whole, and it's a group of many institutions. And I think it's a rather good thing to work on models of shared responsibility between religious and laity, because some reflective practices can give us some more insight on also on ideas and also on a practical approach to how to clericalize all the pastoral. So some motivations that there are more than 40 years of this process of different experimentations, ideas, developments. And I start from a point where I think documents don't produce practices in se. It's not that documents can be applied linearly or directly. If there is a statement, it could be like Vatican II, ecclesiology, or different other documents. It doesn't imply necessarily that we will do it right away, because there is not a practical model of it. So I would like to focus on a deeper look on some interconnected gears. It would be like between ideas, processes, experiments, conversion, resources, and a necessary formation, because people have to be informed in order to put a model into practical issues. So the idea is that when we are doing our pastoral work and ministry, if it has to be done as a community, so it's better to be a community not only of a sharing work, but also in a family atmosphere. So like working on a very proximal relationships. So also as a model of our pastoral work, it's good that it should include all the potential and all aspects of growth and life of the people concerned, physical, psychological, cultural, professional, and so on. And also, it's important to have a focus on the gospel and of Christ, of building and encountering Christ, building faith. So it's not only one concept, there are actually three concepts about community that is also educative and pastoral. It could be linked to the synod about young people, about the missionary synodality. It's not only like being together and feeling well as in a family, but it's being together in order to develop a mission. Maybe some milestones of this process that could be interesting, because really it's a very long process about like how to imply and how to make an idea real. So there were some experimentations and worldwide level with involvement of lay personnel into decisional processes in our works, especially in schools, in the Western world, in Latin America also. Then, after all these experimentations, more or less a decade, in 1978, there was a worldwide definition of the educative and pastoral community, what it is, how can it be developed, but only on paper, let's say. Rather, in a more practical process, there was a key person, Juan Edmundo Vecchi. It's always like you have to have a good leader and an intellectual, also with leadership capabilities, that developed an idea and many practical also handouts and publications about how a community can work around a pastoral plan. It was all the 80s, the times of educative and pastoral planning. After that, in '95, we made a worldwide assessment, and there was a result, rather a critical one, where the religious Salesians, many of them are priests, they felt not capable of accompanying and forming lay personnel. It was always in that sense that they should be the people that form. So it's a rather also a clerical idea, but it's because the mind shift and the paradigm shift, it is very slow. So after that, there was a consolidation of the term shared responsibility and also some practical applications about it. And then also, we can say after 25 years of experimentations, there was a very interesting breakthrough about some ideas of role changing, of consecrated, that if we want to work together in a not clerical ecclesial community, so we have to change the identity of the religious and priests. And so there was this kind of proposal that they have to be formators, companions, spiritual guides, and so on. And then more on, also there were other developments that I think they could be secondary, but it's very important part is that we have to strengthen the idea of a shared formation between consecrated and laity, between priests and lay personnel, because if we don't form together our ideas in youth ministry and in pastoral ministry, so we don't understand each other and we can fight about different ideas. It's clear on a worldwide level because every context has its own language and semantics. So like forming together people can build the base of really working together afterwards and really share responsibility because we can trust each other. Some lessons learned. I would say that I have made some synthesis about 4 points. I think it's important to have some operational model, to form also a network, to give some roles, because then also it gives like a basic security to the people, also to the priests and the religious, to how to work, how to put it into practice. They feel that they don't have to create it from the scratch. So that it's helping actually to work together at different levels. In driving also like the Salesian educative and pastoral plan, it's our term, but it's not about the Salesian stuff. I think it's also about like that the community builds itself around a pastoral project. And the pastoral project builds the community because we are working not on our relationships and the power struggles or fight of ideas. We are working in order to make grow the faith in Jesus and in the young people and prepare the future generations. Of course, I cannot go deeper into the operational model. And it developed, of course, in different stages. So agreed criteria, goals, intentions, initiatives that have been planned together. It's helping to make all this tension about lay and priests and the clerical issue. It makes it much more real and practical. Also, to think about it at a multi-level. So it's impossible that the priest can be everything in a parish. So if it's impossible, it implies we have to make different levels of pastoral animations. So there is a nucleus built of religious and lay personnel. There is a larger community. There is also an outreach to the whole social territory and the area. Also, it's very practical to have some guidelines for lay leadership roles. For example, in some Latin American countries, we have entire communities and pastoral works that are guided only by, it's not only, they're guided by lay personnel that is formed. Okay. Then I think the most important part would be that we have to think a new type of religious Salesian, in our case, or a new type of priests, which corresponds to the new evangelization and the new education. So the priest and the religious could be more a pastoral leader, but leader not in the sense, it's more about being a facilitator. So someone who can creatively interpret culture, having all these theological studies and preparations and a consecrated identity, to be always in a dialogue with the culture, then animating a broad education environment. The priest shouldn't be only in all the sacramental level of the pastoral ministry, then capable of accompanying groups and also single persons, be able to orient, and then also to interact in a social context. And actually, the formation processes have been already shaped according to this new idea. It's entering slowly, but I think this is a big issue about how to form future consecrated and religious and lay persons together. So that would be the idea of a shared formation as an absolute priority, because also because of the postmodern context and very few shared ideas, actually, we have to be formed together, not only reading the same books, but making the same experiences, like putting into practice some experiential education and learning. And then also to be very soft on the organizational level, because different contexts can change everything, like the demographics. We see that where there are abundant religious vocations, then there is a general lack of co-responsible cooperation. Of course, it's a very practical issue. Like if we are going to Africa or some Asian countries where they have vocations, they are not thinking about shared responsibility. Also, like some secularized or traditional context influences. But not only, it's also an issue of some implicit organizational cultures in different contexts. There is a different idea of community. In some more like developing countries, it's more easier to speak about the larger community, because they have already some kind of tribal identity of working together to sharing automatically. They have another issues, of course. Then there are different types of leaders and communication patterns. So I think that this is the last slide. That is important to not start with documents, but start with experimentations, then make it more solid on a reflection level as idea in a document, then try to implement it in different ways, then evaluate after years of practice, and then maybe some new practices will arise. So I think this could be the idea. Thanks for your attention.